Welcome to Kidney Talk, a program of Renal Support Network, a show that streams health, happiness, and hope to the kidney community. You can download all Kidney Talk shows from iTunes and find a variety of resources to help you navigate this illness at rsnhope.org. Please welcome your host, Lori Hartwell, who has lived with kidney disease since the age of 2.
We are going to speak today to a fellow warrior, and I'm very excited to hear her story. We're going to talk to Ridishanae Shaw, who's on incremental peritoneal dialysis and has built her life around it. And I know I'm going to call you Nay. So please tell me the correct pronunciation of your name. So get it right for the record.
Yeah, so it's Ridishanae.
Okay, it's a beautiful name. I mean, once I get to say it, I'll love it because I've never heard it before. And I love originality.
Yeah, definitely one of a kind.
So can you tell me a little bit about your journey to kidney disease and why you choose IPD now, which is, for people who don't know, it's called incremental peritoneal dialysis. So tell me a little bit about it.
Pretty much the start of it was being diagnosed with lupus nephritis back when I was 17 years old. I had lupus nephritis, which nobody else in my family, has lupus. But, however, my father and one of his brothers do have kidney failure. So that was kind of like a progressive illness, and over time, the scarring of my kidneys, high blood pressure, things like that, eventually turned into, kidney failure. My creatinine was just kind of getting higher and higher. And the talk of dialysis was kind of in my face.
Did you just you're not talking about me, are you?
Yeah.
Is that what I mean, that's what it's like, you're not talking about me.
Exactly. And I would say probably when I was about 20, so for the record, I just turned 30 a couple months ago. I'd say dialysis talk was getting serious probably around 27, 28, and I try to avoid it as much as I could, if I'm being honest. The thing was, I was feeling fine, but my numbers were really bad. Internally, they could see that, things weren't going well. And so I fortunately had a great home nurse that kind of explained it to me in a way that made sense. He's like, if you keep putting it off for too long, you're not going to have a choice of, what kind of dialysis you're going to want to do. And we're just going to have to put you on something just to, save your life. So I really had to get serious and just face the music. And I had to think about which dialysis, if I have to do, is going to be best for my lifestyle. I just finished a medical assistant program back in July. I do have goals of becoming a nurse practitioner and, advancing in the medical field and things like that. And so I don't want this illness to hold me back. I definitely want to be able to live my life as normal as possible and, still have freedom. And for me, the home dialysis really does give me that. I'm still able to work and, like I said, just live my life and have that freedom. So,
well, and it's interesting because there's peritoneal dialysis and home hemo, and one term people haven't heard a lot is incremental peritoneal dialysis. And that's kind of fairly newer treatment that's been offered. And so, as you make a choice for what treatment, can you tell the decision of why you chose to do PD instead of hemo?
So really just being able to, going to the center for one, and having to sit there for however long it takes and doing that a few times a week. It's just really hard. Like I said, at the time I was going to school and still working. I was in hotel management. And like I said, I don't want this illness to, hold me back if I can help it. Also, having a fistula was another kind of thing that I was afraid of,
I can
if I'm
relate.
being honest. Yeah. And I didn't really like the idea of having an exit site either, to be honest, but at least it's more discreet, for the most part. So it's just things like that, that I was considering.
Well, I was on I was on PD for 9 years.
Oh, okay.
And it really, I mean, I was on hemo too and home hemo. And, PD is my choice.
Yeah.
Because I can't stay still. I'm not somebody who, people don't realize how hard it is to sit in a chair that long, unless, you're ready to go to bed.
Yeah.
Or, and your favorite TV show isn't on all the time. So, so tell us a little bit about IPD.
Yeah. So in my situation, so I was actually prescribed when I first started dialysis, 2 treatments a day, 7 days a week. And I had to dwell, I dwell for at least 2 hours. And thankfully, I've been doing so well on it that I've actually been kind of winging down a little bit. Right now, I'm down to just 1 treatment a day, only 5 days a week, which my nephrologist says she has never, did it that way before. She's never had a PD patient on less than, 7 days a week. So,
So basically, you were doing 2 exchanges a day,
mhm.
and because your numbers were off, where they needed to bring some of the different elements down, or potassium, get fluid off, or whatever. And so normally, when you're on peritoneal, you do 4 to 5 exchanges a day, and they can be done during the day or overnight on a cycler, just so
Right.
people know the difference. So you're doing twice a day, and it's really important for people to know, because it really determines on your residual renal function,
Yeah.
determines the prescription. So you're still peeing a lot.
I am. I still have a lot of residual kidney function.
I'm sorry,
Uh,
that's a bad term, pee. But I'm like, you know what? It's exciting when you
yeah.
just say it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
liquid gold, right?
For sure. Yeah, I'm thankful to still be able to produce urine for sure. So I have that on my side at least.
What was it like, the training, and you're choosing the medical field, which makes me think you have a little bit of an edge
Yeah.
over people, because you have that acumen to be able to want to learn a lot of that. So learning, peritoneal is pretty easy.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
mean, it's like the machine at night. You have to learn a little bit more, but it's all just gravity.
Right. Right.
I took PD camping, I mean,
Yeah, I travel and do it. I just was out of the country. I took all my supplies with me. So it's easy. I can as long as I have a command hook, I can set my bag up and have all my supplies, and just as long as I can just set up somewhere, I can do my dialysis anywhere.
how is your diet with it? Like, are you limited on anything?
The only thing is that they just really wanted me to stay up on my protein. I've had a hard time with like protein intake. So that's one. Sodium intake for sure is another one. Just being mindful of that. Potassium, things like that. I definitely get monthly education on dietary, choices and what's best for people with, this disease. So that helps.
Well, and it's phosphorus. When your phosphorus is high, you don't pay now, but you pay later.
Yeah, that is so true.
Potassium, I mean, it wasn't my fault, but when I was 12 years old, they had changed something, and my heart actually stopped from a high potassium.
Wow.
And so potassium, you can't play. There's no room for error.
Yeah.
And so it's important. How often is your blood monitored?
I get labs drawn every month.
Okay, yeah, that's and you could probably tell if you're kind of not feeling that great too, probably.
Yeah, there are some, like if I'm noticing more, headaches, if it's something with my bowels, or, think different things, that it's like, okay, maybe something's, not right. Heartburn, So, yeah.
Well, when you first started, what surprised you the most?
Surprised me, I would say, honestly, how easy it is. How easy of a process it is, I think. I don't know why it was so, like I said, it was something that I was like, really trying to avoid. I didn't want to, deal with it. I thought it would be a thorn in my side or something, just putting a whole dent in my whole life. But when I first did it, I'm like, okay, I can really still live a normal life. So that was the most shocking, I would say.
And did you feel better?
Yes, I did feel a lot better. A lot of people told me I was looking better, that my skin was brighter, I was losing weight, had more energy. And my home nurse told me something that, kind of made sense, that I probably have been not feeling so well for so long that I didn't know that I wasn't feeling well.
Right.
And
It's called the frog in the boiling pot syndrome. You don't know you're changing.
yeah.
And it's a horrible analogy. I just saw the visual and I think I need to come up with another one. So, relationships, working, incorporating it, how does that impact your life? I mean, this is most patients, they throw them in and
Yeah.
you just have to adapt. Do you think it's better starting slower? And I mean, now you're down to one. And how long have you been doing this?
So I've been doing it actually about a year and a couple months, about 14 months now.
And are you on the transplant list?
I am, yes.
Okay, so, maybe you'll get transplanted soon. Who knows?
That's the goal. I've had a couple of people try to get tested as live donors. A lot of people, unfortunately, almost everybody I know is not my blood type, but with the donor exchange program, they are still willing to go get tested and see if they can swap with somebody else, or whatever they need to do. So
Well, and it's also, and how has it impacted your relationships? Now, when I was the first child to ever go on PD in California. When that was 70, 81, I don't know, it was a long time ago. So, and I was only 14. So
wow.
I ended up getting transplanted when I was 24. So about 9 of those years I was on PD. So of course I did the whole dating thing, and I got so used to the catheter that I had boyfriends, and I go I'd be careful, but I go swimming and take a shower, and but I one time remember watching the television, and it was these people running around in bikinis,
Yeah.
and I said, "Where's their catheter?" And I mean, it was so weird, but it was like, it wasn't. I'm like, oh, Lori, come on. Like, it just became part of me. And it's a
Yeah.
weird thing. But I mean, I was very grateful because I didn't really care for hemodialysis. So I was very grateful to have PD.
Right.
And then, of course, transplant is a better treatment option for me. I've
Right.
been transplanted a total of almost 35 years
No, that's great.
with 2 kidneys, 2 different
Wow.
kidneys.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? And I never saw anybody not want to kiss me or anything like that because I had a catheter in my stomach. I don't know about
Right.
you.
Yeah. Same. And so it's funny that you mentioned that, because so I met my boyfriend last June, I want to say, and like we really hit it off. And I think that beginning of July is when I met with Fresenius to, I guess, I think I met with my nephrologist to schedule the surgery, for my exit site. And I told my parents that I think I'm going to break up with my boyfriend because I'm about to go through these changes, and who wants to be with, somebody who has a tube coming out of their stomach. I just had really negative thoughts about it off top, and I just assumed I didn't want him to see me like that. And so they were like, you can't just assume that he's like that. He's a great guy. You just got to have that conversation with him, talk to him. And so, long story short, it was hard, but I had that talk, and it was a big relief, because come to find out, he still accepted me for who I am. He gave me a lot of support, and he's like, I'm not going anywhere. I want to help you through this. It's not going to push me away. And so that was like a really big, like I said, relief off my shoulders to have that support from him. And so, we still together, we live together. I do my dialysis in front of him almost every day. So that hasn't, been a problem, fortunately. Fortunately, I'm lucky to have somebody that really does support me in this, because I was sure that I was going to scare him off, especially just really have meeting him, you know.
I mean, I look back to, a little bit older now, but I run back to those days, and some people did reject me because of it. And I look back and I say, thank goodness. Kidney disease kept the jerks away from me. I wasn't aware. I wasn't
So
wise
true.
enough to know
So
at the
true.
time, because, one of the issues too is you want the people who never want you in their, what is it? You don't want to be, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like you're worried you're going to be rejected, so you make sure you're rejected by not picking anybody who's available.
Yeah.
And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So looking back, I'm like, and I've been married now to, for 27 years
Yeah.
to a man who gives me an anniversary card every month since we've been married.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
and it's like you never can put your guilt or what you're feeling on other people, because it's, we all have something.
Yes.
And it can bring you much closer together, and it's for better or for worse, and you better know that now, because I know a lot of people who get married and then they get kidney disease later on in life, and they're getting a divorce because they never had any problems. And
Yeah.
I think we worked that out ahead of time.
Right. Yeah. That's a major plus.
So, what would you say? Some of the people that are on in center, a lot of people I talk to feel a little afraid. Like, I can't do dialysis at home. I wouldn't want the responsibility. Granted, you're only doing a treatment once or twice a day. So, but I mean, I know you can imagine if you have to increase it if your doctor says to,
Mhm.
because, or you'll be back to square one where you're getting sick again and will lose your choices.
Right. For people that do in center, I mean, for one, I think it's I give them kudos for going through that, because from what I'm so my father, like I said, has kidney failure. My father's also on his second kidney transplant. He's had kidney failure since he was 16. So another big support I have is my dad in going through this. He's kind of like you, been through it all, been through all the different dialysis. And so I've seen how, draining it could be, the time it takes. And yeah, I think it takes a, strong person to, commit to that type of, dialysis. And, like I said, when choosing the type of dialysis I would do, I just, it just really did not work for my lifestyle.
Well, and it's, for me, is like if in center is not working for you, you could go to another treatment and then you could go back.
Yeah.
Nobody says you have to stay. And so I always say, sometimes I liked it because I could be control of my treatment, but I also liked it because, when it's flu season or something, I didn't have to be around people and,
Hey,
could protect my health a little more waiting for a transplant,
exactly.
too. So it's been really wonderful speaking with you, but I wanted to kind of wrap up with a couple of things. Uh, what number one, what are you most excited for besides getting a transplant? I know that. I mean, when you get the call, but
Yeah.
what do you do to just, what do you do for fun and to cope with stress? I mean, we have to find coping skills with this illness because it will
Yeah.
make you, it will bring you to your knees at times.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I had a really hard time just accepting the fact of having to do dialysis. And it's, yeah, something that I, still even struggle to like kind of open up about. That's why I'm glad my home nurse, kind of encouraged me to do this, because I realize how important it is to like to get the word out there, for other people about, awareness of kidney failure and how many people struggle with it, and how many people have to find coping mechanisms. For me, it just took me like starting it and realizing that I could still live my life. So just, school was a big motivation, finishing school, getting a job in the field, and, just striving to like, be better. That's how I call, just conquering the illness. I don't let it conquer me. I do all the things that I set out to do. I still travel. Travel is my passion. And that was another big concern in starting dialysis. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to go anywhere, So just still being able to travel and continue on with that, really helps me cope with things and live my life how I want.
I've learned after 57 years with this illness, you have to have something to look forward to.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to, and you have to create it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm going to go on a trip in 2 weeks, or I'm going to make this recipe tomorrow,
Yes.
or I'm going to, you have to create those things to look forward to. And then one other thing I've learned is that you have to look for things that you look forward to when you don't feel well.
Yeah.
And what I did, I like to bead and make jewelry and, stuff that doesn't, when I don't feel well, I can still look forward to it. And,
Right.
Because when you don't feel well, one of the things I've learned is one of the reasons, instead of not being able, I feel like I'm losing control. So, but I can control where the beads go.
Right.
And that makes my brain rest, or my committee. I don't know if you have that little committee in your head that does it, And so it's you have to find every little coping skill, from
Yeah.
turning off the TV and turning music on,
Yeah.
for going for a walk.
Yeah.
It's the little things.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. And being thankful for them, being thankful, to enjoy them.
Right. You go for Thanksgiving dinner and, everything's salty. And you're like, well, I learned sometimes I bring a dish I can make, that I can eat,
Yeah.
and be grateful that I have something to eat.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of room for error, and we pay a price for it. So it's been an absolute pleasure to speaking with you. I hope the next time we talk, you tell me you got a transplant.
Yes.
And, because, I feel it's the best treatment. Some other patients don't feel that way, but I feel it's the best treatment. But very grateful for PD, and sounds like you have a wonderful home hemo nurse at Fresenius. So, tell her, keep up the good work and train all the other nurses to be just like her.
Shout out to Andrew.
It makes I had both of my home nurses were at my wedding. That's how close you become to your home. They become like family because you tell them the most personal things. And
Yes.
they really make a difference.
Yes.
So they don't even realize the difference they make. So, well, wonderful to speak to you, and thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was a pleasure to be on the show. Thank you so much, Lori.
Thanks for listening to Kidney Talk, a program of Renal Support Network. Please make sure to find us on Facebook or sign up for our newsletter at rsnhope.org. Kidney Talk is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment from your physician. Always seek the advice of your own healthcare provider regarding your medical condition.